If you jealously guard your quality of life, there are 10 best neighborhoods in Salt Lake City that should be at the top of your list. This first-time homebuyer's guide is going to help you find the best location to maximize your quality of life. Don't miss the last neighborhood on the list. So many people forget to notice it. I'm Ryan with Active Utah Homes at Realty One Group Signature, and on this channel I teach you everything you need to know about buying your first home. When we talk about quality of life, the most important things seem to be, to most people, what the drive time to work, school, entertainment, hobbies would be, and also whether all of these things are walkable or bikeable activities. It's also important that green space be accessible and that there be at least some, if not a number, of local restaurants nearby, or pubs, or bars, or places of cultural interest. All of these things combine to create a sense of community that makes for highly desirable housing. And of course, it's also important that we're finding homes that are available at a high quality, and that the value of those homes supports the price to live in that community. So let's talk about some of the best places. Neighborhood number 10 is Rose Park. Rose Park is a small neighborhood north of Salt Lake City. It's economically and culturally diverse with lots of green space, and young families live there due to the prices and the sweat equity available to handy homeowners. Rose Park, it's got quiet neighborhoods that are close to downtown, and many people feel, especially first-time homebuyers, feel really quite at home there. The neighborhoods are made up of primarily post-war brick cottages with giant backyards, big lots, freeway access, and good schools in abundance. The affordability of Rose Park makes it an obvious neighborhood to put on the list. With Riverside Park joining the Jordan River Parkway, there's a lot of biking in this community. You can also find the 18-hole Rose Park Golf Course, or the Rosewood Park for green space to enjoy with your friends and family. Overall, the walkability of Rose Park is not at the top of the list. That's why it's number 10. Almost 72% of people who live in Rose Park drive to get to work. There's room to improve the walkability of Rose Park, but it's my opinion that currently people are moving into Rose Park who want to do just that. There are plenty of amazing restaurants to be found in Rose Park, and the average price for a home in Rose Park is about $315,000 and up. Neighborhood number 9 is Bonneville Hills. Bonneville Hills has a sparse suburban feel to it. It's primarily owner-occupied homes. There are lots of parks. You've got This Is the Place, you've got Hogle Zoo, you've got the Natural History Museum, you've got Red Butte Gardens. And being that it's just a small jump away from downtown, Bonneville tends to draw young couples, families, and professionals who are attracted to open spaces. The homes in Bonneville Hills tend to be a little bit older, but they're very well maintained, and there's plenty of access to big streets that connect Bonneville Hills to the rest of the valley. The restaurants in Bonneville Hills are mostly in Foothill Village, honestly, which is a 20-minute walk away, but truthfully, the restaurants for residents in Bonneville Hills are mostly in Sugar House, which is a 5-minute drive. You can also walk 30 minutes to the University of Utah, where there are also plenty of dining options. There are 2 bike lanes going north to south that connect Bonneville Hills to the rest of the city. You can hear my Utah accent, Bonneville Hills, Bonneville Hill. Anyway, overall, Bonneville Hills is a highly sought out location, but not for its walkability. What makes Bonneville Hills desirable is the fact that there are plenty of open green spaces, and the homes are among the biggest in all of Salt Lake City. The average price for a home in Bonneville Hills is $845,000 and up. Neighborhood number 8 is Foothill, of course, right next to Bonneville Hills. Foothill has a dense suburban feel with mostly owner-occupied homes. And one thing that draws people to Foothill is that there are also big backyards or big lots with giant views that afford lots of privacy. Foothill has the lowest crime rate in all of Salt Lake City. With a 15-minute drive to the city center, there's not quite as much available by bike in Foothill, bike or foot in Foothill, but the Salt Lake City Central Station train provides a 45-minute ride to get downtown, and it's free. I believe it's free. Some of the other attractions of the Foothill neighborhood are the Bonneville Golf Course and the Wasatch Hollow Open Space. So Foothill has mostly bigger post-war homes, and likely you'll spend most of your time dining and shopping at Foothill Village, or, like Bonneville Hills, in Sugar House. So overall, the Foothill neighborhood is not known for its walkability. Still, it does have ample green space and boutique shopping and dining attractions to satisfy the needs of everyone in the neighborhood. The average price for a home in Foothill is $970,000 and up. Neighborhood number 7. Sugar House, of course. Sugar House. Sugar House is close to the University of Utah and Westminster College. It's a safe neighborhood and draws mostly younger populations wanting to be near the downtown, as well as the college or the University of Utah or Westminster College. The homes in Sugar House are primarily homes from the 1920s and mid-century bungalows that could use a little bit of renovation, and there's lots of room for sweat equity. The proximity of the amenities in Sugar House and the 10-minute drive that will get you to the city center or to the mountains for hiking, biking, skiing, snowboarding make these homes extremely desirable. There are great transit connections, namely the S-Line streetcar connects you with tracks, and Sugar House features a 5-minute bike ride to the university or college. You have several of the very best bars, pubs, and restaurants in Sugar House. It's got boutiques, bookstores, and parks. In Sugar House, you've got, of course, Sugar House Park, which attracts attracts residents from every area in all of Salt Lake City. They've got fantastic trails for biking and running, and Sugar House Park also has mature trees, a lake, and hills for sledding in the winter, and other amenities for sports. You've got your basketball courts, and it's a fantastic park. So overall, Sugar House has walkable attractions that appeal to the entire city, and there are plenty of green spaces and cultural events and nearby roads connecting Sugar House to anywhere you could possibly want to be. So the average price for a home in Sugar House is $705,000 and up. Now, neighborhood number 6 is Wasatch Hollow. It sits just below, just below Foothill and a little bit north of Sugar House. And Wasatch Hollow features tree-lined streets and an urban feel with access to local shops and restaurants. You can easily access Immigration Creek and the 11-acre Wasatch Hollow Preserve with its own pond, mature trees, trails, and meadows. It's a little bit like Sugar House Park, maybe just a tiny bit smaller, kind of tucked away in a neighborhood. The drive from Wasatch Hollow to downtown is 15 minutes or a 30-minute bike ride, and because Wasatch Hollow features more green space and less congestion, you'll find primarily families, young couples, and professionals living in Wasatch Hollows. So overall, Wasatch Hollow is a home to many people who prefer to access work and play by bicycle. The commitment to quality of life adds to the appeal of this neighborhood. The residents are very serious about biking to work, They have one of the highest numbers of residents who bike to work and really in the whole country. The residents who make up this neighborhood tend to be well educated. They have postgraduate degrees, and they enjoy the arts as a pastime. About a little more than 3% of homes in this area belong to same-sex couples, which is higher than 99.3% of American neighborhoods. The average price for a home in Wasatch Hollow is $845,000 and up. Neighborhood number 5. Neighborhood number 5 is Yalecrest. Yalecrest has mature, old-growth, tree-lined streets and well-kept homes. Also, the types of homes you'll find are some of the more European homes that you'll find in Salt Lake City. You have English Tudors, you have English cottages, you have Spanish colonial and French Norman style homes. And arguably Yalecrest has the very best views of the Wasatch Mountains as well as the Oquirrh Mountains. You kind of get to look up at the Wasatch and down at the Oquirrh from the Yalecrest area. You'll also find that Yalecrest features access to lots of stores, restaurants, schools, University of Utah, Westminster College, Yale Park, and Yale Gardens. Yalecrest attracts families and professionals who are looking for a quick commute downtown using either their car or their bike. But you can also hop the green or purple routes of the University of Utah commuter line for free in order to connect with UTA tracks. So the charm of Yalecrest, like I said, is the rustic homes that feel somewhat European, I suppose, and they're definitely upscale. Overall, Yalecrest is situated between downtown and Sugar House, which makes it very friendly as a walkable community for people who enjoy open green spaces. The average price for a home in Yalecrest is $1 million and up. Neighborhood number 4, Central City. Yes, Central City. Central City attracts mostly renters for historic homes or condos, and there are lots of bars, restaurants, coffee shops, parks, and young professionals, and lots of upside to buying a home in Central City. You can spend your time at Trolley Square eating at pubs, restaurants, or dessert shops like was Normal Ice Cream was over there, I believe. Oh, I love it, it's so good. Or you can shop at the high-end boutiques that fill the former trolley station that is Trolley Square. So you have Central City with lots of new developments of condos and great public transportation, and it's home to Sunnyside Park, Liberty Park, the Artesian Well, Library Square, and City Hall. So Central City is extremely bike-oriented, with 3.8% of commuters getting to work by bike, which is more than 96.5% of all other U.S. neighborhoods. I know 3% doesn't sound like that much, well, almost 4% doesn't sound like that much, but it's more than 96.5% of all other U.S. neighborhoods. So it attracts, Central City attracts urban young professionals starting out as lower middle class residents. So overall, Central City is in the middle of everything. So it's extremely walkable, and it has great access to several cultural centers and activities for just about any interest. The average price for a home in Central City is $500,000, which makes it a great area. Neighborhood number 3. Neighborhood number 3 is the 9th and 9th area. 9th and 9th has a blend of long-standing residents, millennials, and young families. So there are lots of local cafes, restaurants, yoga and Pilates shops, studios, as well as boutique shops and art installations. The 9th and 9th area is mostly made up of Victorian homes that are 2-story or bungalows or condos, and it's a 10-minute drive to downtown or 20-minute bike ride. You've got Liberty Park proximal to 9th and 9th, and it boasts 80 acres with a lake, mature landscaping, playgrounds, and tennis courts. Love Liberty Park. You can also pick up artesian water near Richmond Park, and you've got 9th and 9th blocks off some of the area for Halloween to make trick-or-treating safe for young children. They also have the 9th and 9th Festival. It's a festival held every year that features a lot of the best shops that you can find locally. Bakeries, pubs, restaurants, artists, whatever. It's just a lot of fun to have that festival every single year. Overall, 9th and 9th is a community with its own flavor that appeals to anyone wanting walkable, local community shops and restaurants. The 9th and 9th area average price for a home is $575,000 and up. Neighborhood number 2, The Avenues. So The Avenues is made up of Victorian homes and brick bungalows, framed cottages, and it's one of the oldest neighborhoods in all of Salt Lake. The Avenues have a very cosmopolitan feel due to it all having different architecture of shops, restaurants, pubs, and homes all sort of mixed together. So the lower avenues tend to be a little bit less expensive, whereas the greater avenues have big views, big homes, and big prices. So the avenues are ethnically diverse with lots of amenities. People really like to cycle and walk to the restaurants, coffee shops, spas, yoga and Pilates studios that are available in the avenues. So one of the primary attractions in the avenues for outdoor people is the Bonneville Shoreline. Bonneville Shoreline Trail it circles the avenues and provides a place to walk dogs, or run, or bike, or just walk. So due to its proximity to downtown and where a lot of people work, many young professionals choose to live in the avenues. Just like 9th and 9th, the Avenues also has a street fair every year. The blocks where the street fair takes place are different every year, but it features many local shops, restaurants, pubs, bakeries, and local community flair, just like 9th and 9th. The residents of the Avenues enjoy a high level of participation and support for the arts. The residents of the Avenues are also a well-educated block of people, just like our friends over in Wasatch Hollow, with almost 40% having a postgraduate degree. The Avenues is almost the #1 place for walking to work in the entire country. So, overall, the Avenues are a great place to feel connected to a local community where art, boutique shops, and eclectic eateries are well supported. The average price for a home in the Avenues is $725,000 and up. The #1 neighborhood on this list is Capitol Hill / Marmalade. The homes in Capitol Hill are mostly Gothic Victorian, and there's a mix of older, younger, and professional families who are attracted by its proximity to downtown. But you've got bus and train access to the airport, to the University of Utah, to the freeway going north and south, and there's hardly any more accessible area in the city to both downtown and every other area in the city. The green spaces in Capitol Hill are primarily Ensign Peak, Memory Grove Park, and the Bonneville Shoreline Trail. With fruit tree-lined streets, you'll feel right at home, whether the most important thing is to you nightlife, or green space, or home life. Capitol Hill has a large LGBTQ community and is mostly renter-occupied. This means that much like Rose Park, there's a lot of upside to buying a home in the Capitol Hill area. As the area infrastructure and amenities improve, so will home values. Capitol Hill has views of the Great Salt Lake, as well as the Greater Salt Lake area. Some of the attractions are the Pioneer History Museum, Lake City Theater, and anything downtown has to offer. all by foot. And of course you can visit the Capitol too, but everything's accessible by foot or bike. So in addition to all of those things, the Capitol Preservation Board holds community outdoor screenings, film screenings from the south lawn onto the wall of the Capitol building for free. And Capitol Hill is the #1 neighborhood on the list because it's so proximal to downtown, restaurants, pubs, museums, the airport, the freeway, and as of right now, it's still slightly more affordable in November of 2022 than the avenues just around the corner. Overall, Capitol Hill is a tight-knit community of art enthusiasts who enjoy green spaces and environmentally friendly local shops and entertainments. The average price for a home in Capitol Hill is $600,000 and up. Watch my video on 7 mistakes to avoid when buying your first time home.